Minaj. I'm gonna be, doing a tribute for Mariah Carey, and we all know that Mariah and Nicki do not see eye to eye. After doing all of those things, that man made a fool out of himself on stage. The Bobs didn't even need to say anything. They didn't need to move an inch. He went up that stage, dressed like Whitney Houston, and basically made a fool out of himself and a fool out of Mariah herself. So at this point, I'm just like, oh my God, is this Onika voodoo, or what exactly is going on? Because, what are the odds that you would disrespect a woman, say F a woman, getting too comfortable? And this is what I dislike about the hypocrisy, because people get too comfortable. What other woman would they sit on there and say F that woman? Black women would have been in arms saying, protect black women, protect us. Oh my God, how can you speak to a woman like that? How can you talk about a woman like that? But guess what? Nobody's up in arms because what? It's Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj, they don't like her. And honestly speaking, I'm just like, he deserves everything that came his way. And also in as far as Mariah Carey getting, her tribute messed up, they deserve each other. Let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about this entire situation. I loved when I saw that. And Miranda was saying to me, did you see what this guy was doing? And I'm like, Miranda, can you now see how karma works? Nicki didn't have to lift her finger. The Bobs didn't have to lift any finger. And this man still went out there and embarrassed himself. It's like the universe is just, you're being a foul person, let me embarrass you. I don't know who was whispering in his ear to wear that Whitney outfit. Like, what about that outfit screams Mariah? I don't understand. And you could talk Mariah herself was just home there like, pretending to like it. Oh my God. Let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. The tidal swindler. My apologies for the first part of this video. I'm just realizing I hadn't plugged in my microphone. You guys, I don't know what's going on. But that being said, the tidal swindler, it seems like everything is falling apart. From his Super Bowl peak to everything that's being said or that's being whispered about the Epstein files. Because people have kind of been clocking that, well, they have been looking for the fans of his peak. I am talking about Bad Bunny. You guys know that, well, this man picked Bad Bunny, to perform at the Super Bowl. And some people kind of had mixed feelings about this. And some people are of the belief that, well, he picked Bad Bunny in order to infuriate the president, Donald Trump. Now, I have to admit, I don't know how far true that is, and I do not know if it makes sense as a conspiracy theory or what exactly is going on. But it seems like that plan is backfiring as nobody is coming up and, presenting themselves as his fan. the fan of the performer, because, well, there is a flyer from, the NFL where they are looking, for Bad Bunny fans, I guess, to come to the game. And this is what they said. They said acting. It's a gig. It's an acting gig. So I don't know if you... You guys, I'm just watching this and I'm like, oh my God. I remember I always told you on this channel that one thing about God is he allows you, to go very far until you get to a point where you realize that after all, you could never be a mini God because there's only one God. You could never be anyone's idol because they can only be one God. And he's a jealous God. And he allows you to do all these things. And when he crashes out everything, it just all comes down. Reminds me of the story of Pharaoh, really. So anyway, this is an acting gig. And it reads, Fox Sports Super Bowl needs Patriot and Bad Bunny fans. It says, seeking Patriot fans and Bad Bunny fans for Fox Sports Super Bowl. Please see the details below. Rate, free tickets to Super Bowl, and no travel paid. So I guess the payment for these so-called actors and actresses is going to be coming in the form of free tickets. So in a less sophisticated and less complicated and less propaganda-ish way, they are just looking for fans or people to pose as fans of the NFL and of Bad Bunny. And so people are calling it out. They're saying, what's happening? Are there not enough tickets being bought? What's going on? Because a lot of people kind of have been saying that, you know what, we're not going to be attending the Super Bowl. And I'm not sure if this recent development about the Epstein files is going to help Brother Billionaire or if it's going to worsen the situation. But for me, I'm just watching from the sidelines. Just seeing where Brother Billionaire is taking his followers and his saints. But anyway, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about everything that's going on. Do you think that is ever going to be held accountable? Or is he one of those people that's ever going to be defended due to his proximity to everyone's sweetheart, Beyonce? Because it seems like everybody has got a soft spot for Brother Billionaire, okay? Had it been anyone else who had been entangled in these kinds of situations, TMZ would have been on its 10th article right now writing about it. But where are they? Nowhere to be found. As for Ibro, he's nowhere to be found. At this point, he disappeared into his beard. I don't know where he went because it seems like online, his online, availability is non-existent. is no longer around online. Peter Rosenberg, I do not know where he disappeared to with his bald head. They are none of them have tweeted anything, and I've been waiting for both of them to tweet something, but it's been crickets. Where are these people? Where are they? Charlemagne and his shiny bald head, Lauren LaRosa and his wig and her wig. Nowhere to be found. No news from Lauren about how she reached out to Brother Billy. Nothing. And Harvey from TMZ and his walking stick, nowhere to be found. Hey, you guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about all this drama. Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about, Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro. I've been putting this story in the headlines. For some reason, I don't know, I've been forgetting to talk about it. But it seems like one of them is not willing to let go of the other. I don't know if at this point this is what people classify as, obsession. Because allegedly, Megan still wants Milagro to be sanctioned to not speak about her. But as far as I'm concerned, since they left that entire, lawsuit, Milagro hasn't been explicitly, directly talking about her. So I am just confused. I'm like, what's the point in this? At some point, you've got to let it go. At some point, you have to let it go. A smart person knows when to call it quits. A smart person knows when to give it up. A smart person knows when to not, waste resources anymore. Isn't this the same Megan that was crying earlier on at the beginning of this year about Queen Emmanuel and how much they chowed her money and were not able to deliver, up to standard service? I remember seeing Googly Eyes posting about this. I do remember this. So I'm like, have you not learned your lesson? You want to, waste everything that you've made from your Popeyes franchise? You want to use all that money to continue paying lawyers? What are you doing? If I were here, I would save my Popeyes money. What franchise that she has? Zuentus. But all I'm saying is, if I had a fast food franchise, I wouldn't want to waste that money giving it to lawyers that are misleading me and lying to me that they will yield something different. Okay? And at this point, I'm like, girl, just give it up, okay? It's not the obsession gives me the same obsession that she has in as far as the other major case is concerned. Now, for that case, the Tory Lanez case, I was like, if that man pew-pewed her, maybe she's still bitter about it. But when it comes to Milagro, I'm like, what did this lady even say that would make you obsess over her to this extent? What? Girl, just move on. Or are they using these lawsuits as an attempt at distractions? Because this is not making any sense. Who is advising her? And are those people advising her having any good interest at heart for her? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think these guys are playing at. Personally, I'm just watching. It's a Saturday and I'm just seeing all the drama unfolding. Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about the excuses. Well, how could I forget to talk about it? Babs, who has made the excuses will for Lace Z? And you guys made the will and made him wear a lace front. At this point, I'm just like, you guys are so ungovernable. But yes, Babs have invented yet another excuse as well. For Brother Billionaire. And some of the excuses that you can find on the will are, I don't understand what you guys do. Who's coming up with this stuff? It says Onika Burgers here. Go. Oh boy, what are you doing? Oh my God. So some of the excuses are, it's called the Jesus excuse well. It says that was long ago, and then the other excuse says we stand Beyonce, not Jay. And I'm assuming this is, from the Beehive's perspective, where they're now trying to separate their favorite from her husband. And I'm like, since when are we separating husbands from, wives from their husbands? And since when are we not holding wives accountable for what their husbands did, even when they were not together? Since when is that? Or is that conditional? Don't get it twisted. I do love Beyonce as an artist, but what's good for the goose is also good for the gander. Is that not so? Is this animal fun or not? Because I do believe that no animal is more equal than the other. If Nicki Minaj has to be responsible for what her husband allegedly did back in the day, so does Beyonce. She also needs to be held accountable for that. Don't you think so? And the other excuse is anything unrelated, and then the mention of Kenneth. Exactly, I've seen this happening. And you're like, what has Nicki Minaj got to do with all of this? And some of them are even going as further as trying to allege that, Jay-Z is in those files because Nicki was hanging with Trump. And at this point, I'm just like, you're irredeemable. Like your level of stupidity, there's nothing anyone can do to salvage you. You're a lost cause if you believe that Nicki Minaj hanging with Trump has got anything to do with those files. Because first of all, if Trump had that power, don't you think he would have deleted his name from the files as well? Or not? Or your brain doesn't function that much? And I'm like, how much power do you think the pink lady has? You think she's going to the DOJ and saying, oh my God, put Jay-Z in? And the people are just like, yes, Nicki Minaj was shaking hands with Trump, so let's put Jay-Z in that. Let's put Pusha T. Okay, and I'm like, what beef does Nicki have with Pusha T? If anything, she would have inserted Jay-Z and she would have probably inserted Charlamagne. Those are the people that I don't think that she would have inserted Pusha T. If anything, it would have been Jay-Z. And that man from TDE, what's his name? The one who went mute all of a sudden after he expressed massive interest in the Epstein files. I mean, he was tweeting about the Epstein files a day before they were released, only for him to just go mute. He's nowhere to be found on the internet. I'm talking about the punch guy from TDE. If anything, those are the people Nicki would have said, can you please insert them? But she doesn't have that authority or that power to do. People are trying to cope so hard to the point where they're now blaming an innocent woman who's just 4'11". Anyway, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let's see some of the excuses actually. They said, oh, he was paid to do this. It's not that big of a deal. They stay quiet on everything. And then the other one is any other excuse. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Cardi. Now, Advovo BBO and her team do not seem to learn anything. Despite the massive lesson that they were given in as far as album numbers are concerned, these guys do not learn. These guys do not want to learn, or these guys simply are not smart enough to learn. Because Nicki hasn't been bothering them about their tour. The bumps haven't been, okay, they've been a little bit bothering them, but I mean, it's nothing that they also don't do for the bumps. But Nicki hasn't been. And unprovokedly, they tried to shade Nicki Minaj in as far as tour and, you know, the touring numbers are concerned. And I'm like, Ken Bobby, are you gonna be able to stick with your words? Because what would give you the audacity to be bringing up Nicki Minaj's tour directly or indirectly and trying to make it seem like your friend's tour is doing better? Did we not learn our lesson from 199 point, I don't know, point what? Did we not? We didn't? What are we doing? At this point, I'm now convinced that Ken Bobby is the weapon fashioned against Advovo BBO, because why are you provoking the bumps? Why are you giving them quotes? These tweets are going to be used and quoted in the future when your flop tours numbers get published. For what reason? This is giving very much setup, Ken Bobby. But anyway, let me look for the tweet where he was talking smack and shading Nicki unprovoked to the point where I was like, no friend talks like this. Does this guy enjoy when Advovo BBO gets dragged? Because there are friends like that do feel like when their friend is not getting dragged, they're irrelevant. So they create chaos for the friend so that, well, they can come and type on behalf of the friend when the friend is now getting dragged, because they know that without chaos around their friends, they do not have any form of importance. So they get their sense of importance from pulling their friends into some chaos. Because what would be the reason why a grown adult would want to do this? Seeing how much their friend's tour is not doing well, why would you even want this type of attention to your friend's tour? I'm trying to look for the tweet, I cannot find it, and I do understand that I've been kind of a little bit rowdy, and that's because I've been pre-gaming. I need to go out right now, and that's probably the reason why I might sound unusual, the reason why I might not sound like myself. A little bit loud, a little bit uncouth, a little bit not ladylike. Let me look for this. Anyway, I found it, and it says, this is what it says. Oh my God. Guys, forgive me for what's going on. Okay, he said, only 2 tickets to one person. Tickets are selling. No hundreds of free tickets. No trivia games. No price cuts. Thank you. Come again. And obviously, this was, shade to Nicki Minaj, who had trivia nights with her fans. So they're trying to make it seem like Nicki's tour got successful because she had trivia nights. And she gave some tickets to her fans. And at this point, I'm just like, clearly the people are intentionally being ignorant. I don't even know if this deserves an explanation or a response, but I've come to the realization realization that people who rock with that side truly know the truth from the bottom of their hearts, but they are determined to basically push these narratives and propaganda. So that being said, you guys, thank you very much, you guys, for watching. And it seems like lately I've kind of been seeing that the facades have been off, the masks have been off, and I love that. I love when people declare exactly where they stand, in terms of everything. I'm loving what I'm really seeing on the timeline on everything. I love when people stand in their truths honestly. But that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I love you so much, you guys. Happy new month in advance. Thank you for staying with me even during the days where I wasn't consistent, when my job was demanding from me, and the changes in life were also demanding from me, and I kind of had a little hiatus. I would say for the past year I haven't been as consistent because my job has been demanding, and you guys, I did relocate to a different place. We'll talk about it more, and until my next one, you guys, thank you. If some of you had been wondering why I'd been inconsistent in the past year, I've just kind of been trying to adjust. But thank you for sticking by. Until my next one, see you.